Oh, XSplit, don't do this to me now. Just let me freaking change the side that they're on. Thank you, kindly. Alright, so spawning in the upper, well, I guess the left location is a two-player map on Abyssal City, guys, representing Team Complexity. It's Gosu User.
And his opponent spawning in the right-hand position with the impossible to pronounce name. It is the pink Protoss Ursula.
And yeah, for those who don't know, I mean, this is okay. We'll gotta pause. Plenty of time to talk about this. This is gonna have a blue sort of tinge to it. I know some people see these casts of like even if it's on NASL or like ESL or any of the other channels out there, Abyssal City is underwater. That's why there's a blue hue to it. There's a lot of cool stuff. You see coral reef. There's mining going on all over the place. But some units, as I said earlier, when they die, they float upwards. They don't just explode and disappear into the nothingness. And it's
Mm.
again because this is all underwater, which kind of brings in the dynamic of like, okay, Beetlisks can swim, but Hydralisks can't. Okay.
I actually think that Hydralisks would swim really well. Like, did you ever see the aliens swimming?
Oh my god, dude, they'd be like snakes slithering. Like the
Exactly, yeah. They'd be like, in fact, they'd be almost exactly like Naga from World of Warcraft. Or just Warcraft 3.
Naga, please. All right, graphics, you're set. So it looks like Ursula, my lord, is about ready. And I'm so sorry for saying your name like that, Ursula or Akala or Ursula, however you say it. I just have so much fun with your name. But game is now getting underway, and what I wanted to show before the pause was the locations of these bases. So you have your natural, pretty close, pretty standard. This isn't too different from any other map. However, when you try to go for your third, it's very open to this large choke. There is a ramp here, there's a ramp here, and there's a third ramp over here. Now, the catch to this is, of course, there are rocks in the middle of the map. And this is so far away from your opponent's base. Like, when you come out, Ghost User to take an attack path has to go all the way around like this, come through the map, go over the top, down here, through this ramp, and, like, get into the third base. So there's some catches where it's like, this is very far away, but it's also very open. So it's not the safest base, but it's not the most in danger base either. And, of course, you do have a little half base here, just like you see on Daybreak so often. So, I mean, this is an interesting map, and with the rocks kind of in the middle, again, that little reference to Daybreak, it makes for some interesting strategy because positioning is everything.
Yeah, I definitely do see this map as being quite similar to Daybreak, and leading to it looks like very, very similar styles, as neither one of these guys trying for any sort of cheese. It's very easy for Protoss to wall off right in the front of this. Oh, Space Shark hanging out right over the base. Actually, not Space Shark, in fact, because if we're underwater, then just Shark. But
Yeah, I know that we're
uh,
actually Panda and I were talking about is a regular shark versus space shark. And a pylon block already going down. Oh, Ghost User, poor Ghost User. If only he had built a spawning pool. Oh wait, yeah, he did, so this isn't a problem whatsoever. This just delays a little bit, which can be a little frustrating, but again, not a huge deal.
still probably worth it though. Is the 100 minerals that you end up losing overall for it, and you force a decent number of Zerglings out of your opponent. You also know where they are, so that your opponent doesn't just blitz them across the map without you having an eye on where they're at. So,
The third base just goes down, and again, this is that Zerg matchup that you heard us talk about earlier, guys. Three bases, Forge, Expand. It's Zerg, it's Protoss. Deal with it. I gotta say, like, truthfully, it's not exactly like I find this matchup boring. I am just personally a little frustrated that this is what it's come down to, that there's only one way to play it. But I don't want to harp on that too much, as we do see kind of that second base, the pylon going down, base being placed down for Ghost User. And I'm really curious what our Protoss player has in store. I mean, there are some things like, for example, Sentry Immortal All-Ins that are very difficult to hold off, especially once you have, three open bases, like particular. This is going to require a lot of force fields, so you don't particularly want to go for the third, the natural almost being a much better choice just because of the smaller chokes to fight in.
yeah, I do think that if that's the strategy which is gone for, it would be a much better decision to try to go there. And one thing that's interesting about this map, which is very different from Daybreak despite some of the similar layouts, is that I believe the main base, despite being a 2 level up, can be blinked into. And
Yes.
so Blink Stalkers on Daybreak can't get across that chasm, and so that's why you almost never see them used. It's just so difficult to utilize them. Like, you'd much rather just have the heavy hitting units out, but on this map we might see something a little bit different, a little bit more tricky, rather than just going for the, like, kind of bruiser strategy of, like, lots of sentries, lots of immortals, and you just go hit them.
Yeah, and Ghost are putting two slowlings outside the base. This is kind of a cool choice because if there are any probes to go out, try and go for the third, try and put pylons out. He'll be there ready to chase them. And oh, I like this, Senex. We have a Stargate coming. And whether we're going to see Void Rays or Phoenixes, most likely 5 Phoenixes, this is going to be really effective because, again, this is a big map. You want that air mobility. You clean up the Overlords. You do some harass. And they're crowd control. Think polymorphic mages from World of Warcraft. You got 5 of those at your disposal every engage.
Yeah, definitely using the Stargates would be, or using the Stargate is going to be a nice decision. Now, there's only 2 Overlords that I currently see, one to the north and one to the south, which would be easy pickings. The other ones you would actually need to commit a little bit for. And the transition out of this is definitely going to be an important part where we decide to try to take a base or just go for kind of the next level of an all-in.
Yeah, that's one point on the southern part of the map. I didn't know this. There's actually more space sharks or regular sharks. There's a lot of sharks on this map. But Zerglings are being chased off by the Zealot, so they're no longer going to be parked and camped. And yeah, we do see Phoenix production started. And Chrono Boost, I was going to say, are we going to see Chrono Boost? But yep, that's what the Chronos were saved for. And of course, you don't really want to reveal that this is happening until you have about 4, sometimes arguably Phoenixes on the field. You don't want your opponent to suddenly throw down Spore Crawlers and make these units completely inviable.
Well, speaking of revealing that's happening right now, we see 10 Roaches and 10 Zerglings on the view, already moving them out. As with that big bank, did not turn all of those into drones and saturate either his natural or his third. And it's a Ghosty is just going for a huge attack, and this might be exactly the worst thing that could happen.
This is bad timing too. The Warp Gate's only just now finishing, but these other Stargates aren't finished. And while he can pick up Roaches for days with these Phoenixes, the Zerglings are too much. The cannon will help, but the Zealot's not in position at the wall. He's forced to put down a pylon or two. Another cannon coming down as well. A good response, but unfortunate that he had to make it.
I think this is just GG, though. I mean, this cannon is going to go down, and then there's literally nothing that does damage.
Why are the Phoenixes not picking up the Roaches? Oh no! And yeah, the Roaches being picked up, but there's no DPS.
Can't really hurt them. Just delaying the inevitable. One force field, keeping these forces
clutch
up for
force
a little
field
longer, but.
Yeah, they break through, and yeah, this will be the GG from Ghost User, or sorry, for Asila. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to say that name correctly, but. And this is the bug version.